Welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of Ford's most interesting and perhaps underrated modern vehicles, the Ford Puma. Whether you're already a fan of Ford or you're just car curious, stick around because we're going to explore everything from the design and performance to the features, real-world driving feel, and whether it's the right car for you. So let's get straight into it. At first glance, the Ford Puma might seem like just another small crossover, but spend a little time with it, and you quickly realize there's more going on here than meets the eye. It's compact, stylish, and has this quirky, almost playful character to it. It manages to look sporty without being aggressive, and it carries the kind of design language that Ford has really sharpened over the last few years. Especially in Europe, it has these pronounced wheel arches, a smooth sloping roofline, and an overall stance that makes it feel planted but agile. When you first walk up to it, you'll probably notice the headlights. They're slightly raised above the bonnet line, something not everyone loves, but I think it gives the car a unique personality. It's bold without being brash. Then, there's the front grille, which takes a cue from the Ford Performance family, giving it that almost mini-Saint look. It feels sporty, even in the lower trims. But as always, it's not just about how a car looks. It's how it feels when you're behind the wheel. And here, the Ford Puma seriously impresses. Now, depending on the model, you're likely going to be dealing with Ford's 1.0-liter EcoBoost engine, a 3-cylinder, but don't let that put you off. With mild hybrid technology added in, it punches above its weight. The 125 horsepower version feels nippy and responsive, especially around town. And the 155 horsepower version adds just that bit more excitement for motorway driving or spirited weekend runs. What really surprised me though is the way this thing handles. You wouldn't expect a small SUV to be fun to drive, right? But the Puma inherits a lot of its driving dynamics from the Ford Fiesta, and it shows. The steering is sharp and well-weighted. The car feels composed and confident through corners, and there's very little body roll. It genuinely feels more like a hot hatch than a soft crossover, and that's a rare thing in this category. Inside, the Ford Puma offers a clean, functional layout. It's not ultra-luxurious, but it's well and smartly designed. You've got a central touchscreen infotainment system that supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which, let's be honest, are pretty much essential now. The interface is responsive, the menus are intuitive, and the sound system is decent for the segment. Now, let's talk about practicality. One of the biggest highlights here is something Ford calls the MegaBox. It sounds gimmicky, but it's actually super useful. Under the boot floor, there's a deep waterproof storage bin with a drain plug. It's ideal for muddy boots, wet gear, or even ice and drinks if you're heading to the beach. It adds a level of versatility that most competitors simply don't offer. Boot space overall is around 456 liters, which is more than decent for a car of this size. The rear seats are fine for average-sized adults. Headroom and legroom are respectable, though taller passengers might feel a little tight on long journeys. But again, this is a compact SUV, so you're not expecting limousine levels of comfort back there. What's important is that it delivers what it promises, the balance of usability, performance, and personality. And speaking of personality, if you really want the Puma experience cranked up to 11, there's the Puma Street. Now that's a different beast. It's still practical and still has 5 doors, but it comes with a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine pushing out 200 horsepower. It's properly quick and even more agile. You also get upgraded suspension, selectable drive modes including sport, and a soundtrack that's surprisingly throaty for a car in this category. But even the standard Puma models retain enough of that Ford DNA to keep things engaging. Fuel economy is another strong point for the Puma. The mild hybrid system isn't a plug-in, so there's no charging required. It simply helps to reduce fuel use and improve torque when needed. Most drivers should see somewhere around 50 to 55 miles per gallon in mixed driving, depending on how you drive. And the CO2 emissions are low enough to keep tax and running costs reasonable, especially for company car drivers in the UK and Europe. Let's also touch on safety and driver assistance tech. The Puma comes with a solid list of standard and optional features, including adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, traffic sign recognition, and autonomous emergency braking. It scored well in Euro NCAP safety tests and gives you that added peace of mind whether you're using it as a commuter car, family vehicle, or even a daily runaround. From a pricing standpoint, the Ford Puma is competitively positioned. It's not the cheapest small SUV out there, but considering what you're getting, the fun driving dynamics, clever storage, decent equipment levels, and hybrid tech, it represents good value. And with multiple trim levels like Titaniums and Streetline X, there's a configuration to suit most needs and budgets. Maintenance costs are fairly low too. Being a Ford, parts are widely available, and service intervals are generous. The EcoBoost engine has been around for a while now, and Ford's ironed out many of the early teething issues that some owners might remember from earlier generations. Now, if we were to compare the Puma to some of its main rivals, the Volkswagen, TROC, Nissan Juke, Renault Captur, or even the Hyundai Kona. The Ford really stands out for how it drives, while others might have slightly more tech or premium interiors. Few match the Puma for driver engagement, and in a world full of anonymous crossovers, that counts for something. Of course, it's not perfect. Some people might find the screen a bit small, especially in a world where 10-inch and even 12-inch screens are becoming standard. The rear visibility isn't amazing due to the thick rear pillars, and while the materials inside are solid, there are a few hard plastics here and there that remind you this is still a relatively affordable car. But these are small compromises. On the whole, the Puma is a car that delivers more than you'd expect. It's not just another crossover, it's one that's fun, functional, and surprisingly full of character. If you're in the market for a small SUV that doesn't sacrifice driving enjoyment, the Ford Puma deserves a serious look. It's especially ideal for young families, urban professionals, or even older drivers who want something easy to get in and out of but still want that zippy, responsive feel behind the wheel. And as electrification continues to spread through the automotive world, Ford has cleverly placed the Puma in a sweet spot. The mild hybrid system is a nice halfway point between traditional petrol and full EV. For those not ready to make the full leap into electric, this gives you some of the efficiency benefits without the range anxiety or charging hassle. So what's the final verdict? The Ford Puma is one of those cars that proves you don't need to spend a fortune to get something that feels fun, practical, and well put together. It's got personality, capability, and a sense of purpose that many of its rivals are missing, and that's why it continues to be one of Ford's best-selling models across Europe. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown or found it helpful, don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments. Have you driven the Ford Puma? Are you considering buying one? Or do you think another small SUV beats it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, drive safe and stay curious. Would you like a version of this script with visual cues or prompts for on-screen shots, viral suggestions, or background music ideas?